Pastor Singleton, the civil rights leader of Joliet. Pastor Isaac Singleton was born to Sarah and Reuben Singleton. He was born in Tallulah, Louisiana. Dr. Singleton has served in the community, states, and nation in many capacities, including being among 150 African American pastors and invited to the White House by President Ronald Reagan. He was married to Pearl Singleton for 63 years. Pastor Singleton has 6 children, 19 grandchildren, 9 great-grandchildren, and 4 great-great-grandchildren.
As a pastor, Pastor Singleton was one of the most influential spiritual leaders of our time. Pastor Singleton was a pastor at Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. He was a pastor for 47 years at the Mount Zion. In 2009, he stepped down from preaching. For 5 decades, Pastor Singleton shared the good news. Pastor Singleton pastored at other churches, other than just his own. Questions and answers with Pastor Singleton's grandson. What is one word to describe Pastor Singleton and why? Pastor Singleton was a leader. He was an example when it came to his church. He led his ministers and church the right way. Did Pastor Singleton impact the man you are today? Yes, he left me with a huge legacy. Things on how he speaks and carries himself today.
If you could describe the pastor in one word, how would you describe him?
I would describe Pastor Singleton as powerful.
Powerful?
Yes.
And why?
And why? Because of the man that he exemplified. He exemplified Jesus Christ, and Jesus was powerful, and Pastor Singleton as well was powerful in the way that he walked in this, with civil rights, with Dr. Martin Luther King, how he did things for this community, for the Joliet community, as well as across this country. He was able to command he was able to bring us together, and we would come together for a common cause. So that's how I just call it. He's just powerful.
Okay. Thank you.
Pastor Singleton's walk with Christ. What can you tell us about it?
He was a true man of God. You could tell by how he lived and how he lived, an example that he was to the church as well as to his family, that he was a man of God's word, and that he studied his word, and he tried to walk out what God spoke in his word.
All right. How did Pastor Singleton help you with your walk with Christ?
Well, he taught me the word. I accepted Jesus Christ under his preaching and teaching. I also became an ordained minister under him as well. So a lot of what I know today was learned under Pastor Singleton, and I will always be grateful for the time that I was able to spend with him and to learn from it.
Okay. So if you could say one last thing, what would you say to him if you were sitting right here in front of you?
If Dr. Singleton was sitting right here today, I would just tell him thank you. Thank you for the life that he lived in front of me, for being a man of integrity, for showing me how to be a man, to be a man of humility. And I would just say thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Pastor Singleton and the Civil Rights Movement. During the 50s and 60s, Pastor Isaac Singleton played a major role in the Civil Rights Movement, marching aside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Pastor Singleton shared his dreams and struggles for equal rights. He gained an award for his effects in the Civil Rights Movement. Questions and answers with Pastor Calvin Quarles. What is something you could say about Pastor Singleton when it comes to the civil rights? Pastor Singleton was very active as he marched with Martin Luther King for racism.
What is one thing you could say about Pastor Singleton when it comes to the civil rights?
One thing?
Yes.
Vested. And the reason I use vested is because he was a part of it. He was an integral part of it, and this area here in the Joliet, Will County area. To the point that where I would say that he was the main individual from an African American standpoint who made sure that our issues, our concerns were brought to the forefront of those that were in political power in this particular environment. He walked with Martin Luther King. He attended different sites, different committees, different meetings all around the country in regards to him before God directed him to spend more of his time in regards to his own community and his own ministry. So I would use the word vested. Vested / invested.
Okay. And if Pastor Singleton was sitting here right now, what would be the last thing you say to him?
I would say thank you, you know, in regards to his guidance and direction, and more so his transparency and his vulnerability in regards to how difficult it is to be a man of integrity, to accept your calling, and be what you desire to be, even though that there are so many opposing forces out there that tries to combat that. He is, I would also say that as a result of him sharing his true feelings with me and keeping it real, so to speak, 100, as you guys say, the young people say, he let me see a different side. Thus, the trials and tribulations that I face today as a minister of the gospel, as a dean, as a father, as a friend, and so on and so on and so on. I don't have that pressure about being perfect, you know. I'll do the best that I can to fulfill my obligations and do the best that I can to honor God in my purpose that he has put forth in regards to what I'm supposed to do, and just do the best that I possibly can. So I thank him for displaying that, for modeling that, and sharing that with me, because as opposed to trying to put a front on as being perfect, and I'm not.
Okay, what is one word that you would describe Pastor Singleton? And
if I was to use just one word to describe Dr. Isaac Singleton, that word would be powerful. Over the years, I had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Dr. Singleton. He actually married my wife. He married my wife and I. He baptized my children. He's played an instrumental role in our lives, and I miss him dearly. But his powerful effect on not only myself, my family, people that he touched across the city of Joliet and beyond. He's a powerful man.
Thank you. Okay. If Pastor Singleton was sitting here right now, what would be something you would say to him?
If Pastor Singleton was here right now, I would say thank you. Thank you for the impression that you left in my life, the life of Joliet, and the life of so many that you touched. Your memory will continue to inspire us every single day of our lives. So thank you, and God bless.